What you must know about film distribution. So Hollywood isn't waiting for your indie film. In fact, most distributors don't even care how good your story is. They're looking for something very specific. And if your film doesn't fit that box, it's invisible. So in this video, I'm going to show you what distributors are actually looking for and why most indie films never make it past the shelf. Before we dive deeper, make sure to hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the tips and insights we share about filmmaking, funding, and distribution. So first things first, what is film distribution? So basically, it's the process of getting your film out to audiences through different platforms, streaming, theatrical releases, DVDs, TV, and more. The traditional route used to be theaters, but today there are a ton of options available, and most indie filmmakers go the streaming route. We're lucky to live in the age of streaming. There's a platform for almost every kind of film. Amazon, Netflix, Hulu, Tubi, and many others, and when to get it on there. But here's the catch. Just because it's on a platform doesn't mean it's going to be watched. Getting your film on a platform is easy. Getting people to actually watch it, that's where it gets tricky. So anybody can make a piece of content and put it on YouTube or Vimeo or Amazon, but making something that is going to excite distributors because they know a lot of people are going to watch it, well, that's a big challenge. There are a lot of moving parts to distribution. Distribution is not as simple as, I need to get my film on Netflix or I need to get my film on Hulu. There are numerous windows of distribution and release that need to be capitalized on to make a film successful. There's a streaming model, theatrical model, international model. All these things work together. When you're able to produce something that can effectively exploit all of these different models and windows and releases, those are the movies that are going to ultimately find longevity and make money. Contrary to popular belief, a film doesn't have to be in theaters to be successful. Theatrical distribution can more often than not, especially in the independent world, be a loss leader. So it's important to educate yourself about how theatrical distribution works. You can decipher whether or not your film is a theatrical film or not. And there's no shame in not having a theatrical film. If a film doesn't go to theaters and goes straight to the streaming platforms, that doesn't mean it's a bad movie or a cheap movie. It just means it's more primed to be successful by going directly to the streaming platforms. So here's a word of caution, be careful. Look, a lot of money goes out the window in the distribution phase of filmmaking. That's why you have to be smart and educated about it so you know how to leverage the right relationships. If you're not working with the right distribution partners, you can get yourself into a situation where very little, if any, money is going to find its way back to you. The co-founder of Indie Film Ins and Outs, Mark Klebanoff, who's an indie producer and global sales agent, he sold the film to Netflix a few years back where he did the license with Netflix, and then another distribution company took all the remaining rights, all the VOD rights, TVOD rights, etc. And then that company sub-licensed it to another company who sub-licensed it to another company, all without his knowledge or permission. And when Mark found out, he threatened to sue and he got the rights back. But if you're not careful and you don't know what to look out for, something like that can happen. Now you have the company you licensed taking their cut, then they sub-license it to another company who took their cut before the first company takes their cut, and it just goes down the road and dilutes the whole thing. It's very common that things like that happen, and you just have to be very careful. That's one of the reasons why so many filmmakers get burned in their distribution deals and don't see a dime. But there are so many more. You have to know that that's possible and make sure there are checkpoints in the contract to prevent that. And you have to understand how distribution works so that you can manage your own business before you sign the rights away to a company and expect it to do amazing things, so that you don't get disappointed. Now, a lot of people have been burned or don't think they can make money via traditional distribution, so they want to self-distribute. Self-distribution can make sense for certain movies, but ultimately, when you self-distribute your movie, you're keeping a much larger piece of a much smaller pie. It's always better in the long term to have less of the pie, but have a much bigger pie. And that's what traditional distribution does. It makes the pie much bigger because traditional distributors know how to strategically release, market, and position a film in a way that's going to reach the masses the way 99% of individuals cannot do. And there's Film Hub, for instance, which is a self-distribution aggregator that gets you on some platforms. But that's it. They don't do any marketing or placement. They just get you on a platform. But here's the rub. They're still taking about 20% of your revenue. So it's comparable to traditional distribution and the fees, only they do less. So for some films that can't get a traditional deal, it makes sense to go self-distribution. But for most films, we wouldn't recommend starting there. Now, let me share a little bit about distributors. Distributors are very formulaic. They are filling a pipeline and they have very specific boxes that they want to check that they know will sell. And most distributors are not creative themselves. A lot of them don't even necessarily care if it's a great film. It's how can they package it to make it look like something familiar that people are going to get excited about and want to buy. So as filmmakers, we have to figure out how to find that middle ground. We have to figure out how we can check the boxes and give distributors something that they want, but also make a piece of content that we're happy with and doesn't feel like we're cutting corners or cheating ourselves creatively. And you need to find the right sales agent. That's key. So a sales agent is like a talent agent. They find your distributor for your film. So usually you deal with a sales agent directly. But even if you get a sales agent to represent your film, they cannot force anyone to buy your movie. When they take on a movie, they take it on because they're confident that it's going to sell, that they're going to be able to sell it to their clients. But it's important to align yourself with a sales agent and a distributor who's collaborative, transparent, and is actually a fan of your film. A lot of sales agents and distributors are constantly having to fill a pipeline, so they just need more, need new. They work in volume. So they aren't thinking about your film individually as much as a lot of titles at once, which isn't favorable to your film. But when you actually find a partner who gets your film and is a fan of it, that makes a big difference in their ability to be able to position it and release it more strategically, as opposed to just putting it through the machine. You need to vet the sales agent. You need to do your due diligence and research on distributors, on sales agents, and on the market in advance of making your film. If you just make a film and just assume there's a place where it's going to be successful, you're setting yourself up for failure. A lot of filmmakers just assume their film is going to be a big hit that everyone is going to love, but it's really tough to get people excited about stuff these days. And even if they do get excited, it's tough to keep them excited for longer than a microsecond because they're looking at 20 different things on 20 different social media platforms. People have a very short attention span. So doing your market research and really understanding how your film is going to fit into the market in advance, that's going to put you way ahead of most of the competition, because not every film is for every audience. Who's your film for? Your film's not for everybody. Your film's not going to resonate in every part of the world. Your film's not going to resonate with every type of audience. Your film's not going to resonate on every platform. Doing that homework in advance is going to manage your own expectations, and it's also going to put you in a more targeted direction to seek out the right partners to help you release it. A lot of people think if they just make a great film, it will find its way, and this business does not work like that. It's not an autopilot business. That's what being a producer is. It's not just producing a good piece of content, it's knowing what to do with it when it's done. And even more than that, knowing what to do with it when it's done before you even start. That's what makes an effective producer. I know this might sound overwhelming, but we've got something that can help you navigate the entire distribution process. Check out our Understanding Film Distribution workshop. Successful producers start every film with distribution in mind. Knowing how distribution works is crucial to your film's success. And in this workshop, we do a deep dive into myth busting, and Mark gives an inside scoop on what exactly distributors are looking for and how to navigate the distribution process so you can get a good deal. So click the link in the description below to access our distribution workshop today. One final question that people ask all the time: can indie films make money or make their budget back? In today's day and age with distribution currently how it is, the honest truth is most films do not make their money back, but indie films can absolutely recoup their budget in today's market and make money. But there are a few variables that must be in place. First of all, not spending arbitrarily. Knowing how to engineer a budget to align with realistic distribution is key. Don't just write a script, break it down, create a budget, and go, oh, my budget came out to $3 million. I'm going to raise $3 million. No. Put together a proposed package. Do global projections based off that, and then make sure the budget aligns with the projections. That's how you're producing a movie that is poised to recoup its budget and then make money beyond it. And the question people ask Mark all the time is, how much did your last movie make? And that's the wrong question. The question isn't how much did your last movie make? Movies have a shelf life of forever now. Movies make money indefinitely. The right question is, did your movie break even? Did it recoup its budget? And how long did it take? The question is, how quickly is the film going to get to the point where it breaks even and makes a profit? Because now a movie can make money forever due to streaming. Movies of Mark's that were stagnant 4 or 5 years ago, now they're back on the streaming platforms in the AVOD market, and they're making anywhere from 5 to 10K a quarter. And those are movies that were made 15 years ago, and that's going to keep going and keep going and keep going. So when you position your films right and get the right distribution, you too can get deals that are profitable and make money forever. So to sum it up, film distribution is about much more than just getting your film on a platform. It's about making sure your film is investable, creating a strategy that positions it for success, and being smart about how you manage your distribution rights. Without understanding how distribution works and building relationships with the right partners, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. Remember, the reality is that distributors are looking for films that fit into a specific formula. Your job as a filmmaker is to find that balance, know what you want to do as a creative, and know know what you have to do to get it made and set up for success. When you start planning for distribution from day one, the better prepared you'll be to ensure that your project has the best chance of success and makes money, which is entirely possible when you set it up right from the beginning. If this breakdown helped you understand film distribution a little better, please like the video and let me know what was valuable to you. It really supports the channel. Subscribe and turn notifications on so you don't miss future videos where we break down distribution from real-world perspective, not just theory. We make these to unpack parts of filmmaking that people don't hear about, the timelines, the deliverables, and the decisions that determine whether your film gets made, gets sold, and is profitable. And if you have a distribution question you're stuck on or a topic you want us to cover next, drop it in the comments. We read them and they genuinely shape what we dive into next. We'll see you in the next video.